Imagine this for a second. Nearly 20,000 children just gone, abducted, taken across borders, their identities basically stripped away. It sounds like something out of a really chilling thriller, but for Ukrainian families, this is a devastating reality. Today, we're going to dive into a really crucial and frankly heartbreaking investigation from the Kyiv Independent. Specifically, we're looking at their documentary, Uprooted. And this isn't just standard reporting, it's this deep, painstaking investigation into, well, one of the most painful parts of the ongoing conflict.
Absolutely. And I think what's so important here, what listeners should really get from this, is how the Kyiv Independent's War Crimes Investigations Unit managed to piece together the actual systematic process behind this. The forced deportation of Ukrainian children to Russia. We'll unpack the sheer scale of it, the intricate methods they used, and also the brave efforts trying to bring some of these children back home.
Right, that's a huge undertaking. So let's get into it. What exactly does this stolen generation idea mean? And, why is this being talked about not just as a humanitarian crisis, but potentially as a war crime? A huge one.
Well, the scale is just... It's hard to comprehend.
The numbers alone are just sobering. You've got the Ukrainian government officially identifying over 19,500 children forcibly deported to Russia. But what's really unsettling as you dig deeper is the expert perspective. Human rights workers, people on the ground, they believe the actual figure is, and this is quote, far, far higher, which is where that term stolen generation comes from. And we see the impact really concentrated in certain regions, right? Like Donetsk Oblast.
Exactly. As of early 2023, Donetsk had the highest number of identified deported children. And this is precisely where Uprooted, which is actually the Kyiv Independent's first documentary, offers such critical insights. Their War Crimes Investigations Unit wasn't just, observing from afar. They actively established the names of Russian-controlled officials involved. They painstakingly followed the paths families took, desperate, trying to get their kids back. They ended up speaking to, I think it was over 40 individuals, really piecing together a comprehensive picture.
Wow, 40 people, that's extensive.
Yeah, and one specific finding, just to give you an example, they found 31 children who were taken from occupied parts of Ukraine way back in May 2022. Those kids still haven't been returned. And some were later found to have been put up for adoption in Russia.
Put up for adoption, even if they have family back in Ukraine.
Yes. And perhaps the most stark example they uncovered was a boy named Pylyp Holovnya. He was illegally adopted by Maria Lvova-Belova herself.
Wait, the Russian Commissioner for Children's Rights? The one named in the ICC warrant?
The very same one. It just shows the level this reaches.
Okay, so given all that incredibly detailed, painstaking work that went into Uprooted, the impact when it was released, what was the reception like? Did it, shift the conversation?
Oh, the reception was incredibly strong. It really seemed to validate all the team's efforts. Katerina Rashevska, a human rights activist, she said it managed to convince even the biggest skeptic. Her point was, after seeing it, no one can say that these children are not victims of war crimes. It made it undeniable.
That's powerful.
Yeah. And Mykola Kuleba, who used to be the Children's Rights Commissioner and now heads the Save Ukraine organization, he called it an honest and important documentary. He said it really reveals the actual schemes behind the forced deportations. It laid it bare.
So it wasn't just emotional, it was seen as revealing the mechanics of it all.
Exactly. And you had others, like Marina Leonchuk from Detector Media, emphasizing its ongoing importance, saying the story is crucial and can only be counted as completed when we return all the deported children home and punish all those involved.
A long road ahead, then.
Definitely. And one more comment from Elena Zadorozhna of the Ukraine 5 a.m. Coalition, I thought really captured the way they told the story. She said, "You managed to show pain without the need to squeeze out emotions," which she felt was, a sign of a professional approach. Let the facts speak.
That really does speak volumes about the quality of the investigation and the filmmaking. So, beyond those individual heartbreaking stories, what did Uprooted really reveal about the system? You mentioned schemes. How did they establish this wasn't just random acts, but like an organized process?
Right, that's the critical insight from Uprooted. It connects the dots. It shows this isn't just a collection of tragedies, but a highly sophisticated, multi-layered system of abduction. It's not opportunistic chaos. It reveals a calculated state policy. They often use these seemingly humanitarian reasons, recovery camps, things like that, to basically mask forced assimilation.
And that systematic nature, that's key for the legal side too, isn't it?
Precisely. This systematic deportation of children against their will, potentially with the intent to destroy the group, is what falls under one of the definitions of genocide in the UN Genocide Convention. The investigation showed it involved a whole network. Russian-placed employees in social services, in medical facilities, in children's centers, particularly drawing from those parts of Donetsk Oblast that Russia invaded back in 2014.
So using infrastructure already under their control.
Exactly. They detailed the path. Children taken from Mariupol moved first to these earlier occupied territories, then held in, believe it or not, at least 9 different hospitals in Donetsk.
Hospitals, even if they weren't hurt.
Even if they were completely uninjured. That's part of the deception.
Okay.
From there, they were deported to Russia, again under this false pretext of recovery. But the endgame was placing them in Russian families or state orphanages. The Kyiv Independent even managed to trace some specific children to a place called the Polyany boarding house out in the suburbs of Moscow.
And what's significant about that place?
It's a branch of the Children's Medical Center of the administration of President Vladimir Putin's affairs, directly linked to the top.
Wow. It's just chilling, the level of calculated planning you're describing.
Yeah.
So once these children are actually in Russia, what happens? What did the investigation find about their lives there? Are they just sort of lost in the system, or is something more active happening?
Sadly, it's very much the latter. The investigation revealed children are often held incommunicado, completely cut off from contact with Ukraine. Then they're subjected to pretty intense brainwashing pro-Russian propaganda, rewritten history.
And the adoptions, you mentioned those earlier.
Yes, and what's particularly egregious, just devastating, is that many are adopted out to Russian families even when they have living relatives in Ukraine. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles.
Right.
People who are their legal guardians.
So their legal status, their family ties, are just ignored.
Completely. And these Russian adoptive families, the investigation found, actively try to convince the children that Ukraine doesn't exist anymore or that it's been destroyed. They push a very specific pro-Russian, military patriotic kind of education and even monitor the children's behavior closely to ensure compliance.
It's a deliberate effort to erase everything they knew. Their past, their identity, their family.
It is. It's cultural erasure targeted at children.
Which, again, connects straight back to the bigger picture. These aren't just individual tragedies, horrifying as they are. They have severe international legal ramifications. This is exactly what underpins those serious claims of war crimes, and it leads directly to the actions of the International Criminal Court, the ICC.
Right. On March 17th of 2023, implied, the ICC issued those arrest warrants, specifically for Maria Lvova-Belova, the children's commissioner we mentioned.
Who adopted one of the children herself.
Exactly. And for Russian President Vladimir Putin. The suspicion: direct involvement in organizing the abduction of Ukrainian
If you enjoyed
children.
this video,
Work like
please
the
hit the
Kyiv
like
Independent's
button and
Uprooted
subscribe for
provides the
more
kind of
videos like
detailed
this.
evidence needed